At this time, I want to give you a heads up that we will now have an invocation by Mr. Abernathy. I invite you all to join with us or engage in a moment of silent reflection. So, Mr. Abernathy, I'm asking you to do that.
Thank you. Let us pray. Lord, we do cast all of our anxiety on you. Grant us inner peace and contentment, no matter our individual obstacles. Your laws are clear and they are before us. Help us to remain faithful. We pray for our staff, our teachers, and our students as they start a new school year. Keep them safe and grant them every success. We pray for the work of this board. Help us and guide us toward successful outcomes. Amen.
At this time, we're going to have the pledge to the flag, but I've asked Mr. Baker, and I don't know if any of you guys know this or not, you know, he's got a reputation to be a real nice guy and give you a real good deal on tires, so to speak. But he was actually a drill sergeant in the U.S. Army, and he's 7 on top of that. So I'm asking him to have someone in the audience to lead us in the pledge, and I just want to put in a kind word for a fellow veteran, and like I say, an E7 in the Army, a drill sergeant during the Vietnam era. He's tough as a pine knot, so be careful. He's not meek and mild like he presents himself.
We'll all stand. I'd like to call on a real soldier, Mr. Kia Carson, to lead us in the pledge.
Salute, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Dr. Grid informed me that, of course, next month, the NJROTC from high school will be back with us.
Yes, sir.
And at this time, item number 6 on the agenda, Superintendent remarks. So, Dr. Grid, I'm going to turn it over to you, sir.
All right, Chairman Frank, ladies and gentlemen of the board, appreciate y'all being here tonight out there with us, and for those watching us on television tonight. This is August. August is always exciting with MAI and MEC already back in school last week, and the traditional schools ready to go back on the 25th. Expect to see our buses on the road, and soon enough our activity buses will be rolling for those evening extracurricular activities. We have our first home volleyball game tonight, followed by soccer on Wednesday. Our football team is also scrimmaged last Friday at Owen with another game scheduled for this week. The lights are on in the stadium, and you can hear the band play all the way down on Highway 70. As we begin a new school year, it's always a good thing when you're still handing out recognitions for the work that was done over the last year. Tonight, we're excited to have students from our FBLA club here that competed in national competition over the summer and brought home some hardware. Building on last year's momentum is a great way to start a school year. We're proud of our students and staff, and I'm here to tell you this board's been busy at work over the summer too. And we're proud of each of you for your commitment to our students and community. This evening, we also want to give a shout out to our friends from the Operation Backpack. As Miss Melanie Dunham, who leads that up here in our office, that group has given out nearly 1,000 backpacks this school year. Tonight, board, we have a resolution on the agenda. This resolution marks the end of the 120-day due diligence period to purchase land for a new school. We also have a recommendation to bring to you, which we believe is the best architectural firm to lead our project. What we don't have here is the North Carolina Public School Lottery capital grant needed to build the new school. But before you can even apply for that grant, you must have the land, be shovel ready, be prepared to consolidate, and be in a Tier 3 county. Folks, we check all of those boxes. The next step in this process is seeking legislative support. Board, now is the time to meet with our legislators, share our story, and seek support for our new school. What we saw that happens when McDowell County rallies, especially in the aftermath of Helene nearly a year ago, folks, as a community, if we put the same effort into securing a grant for this new school, there's no doubt in my mind that we will accomplish our goal. That said, each of you here tonight, and those watching online, now is the time to advocate on behalf of our schools. Finally tonight, as our students return to the 2025-2026 school year, it is my prayer that we have a school year filled with student growth, harnessed in safety, and one that we will all be proud to say, that's my school district, that's my hometown, that's where I'm from, and it's great to be a Titan. Thank you. Yes, sir. At this time, we're going to ask Miss Mary Finley to come forward, and we're going to do some student recognitions.
Okay. Well, good evening. It's always a pleasure and a privilege to be back to recognize the great things that our students do. Our future Business Leaders of America attended the FBLA National Leadership Conference that was held in Anaheim, California, June the 28th through July the 2nd. The conference drew more than 16,000 students from across the country, showcasing the best in leadership, business skills, and community service. Foothills Community School proudly earned 9th place in the nation for their community service presentation, which highlighted their partnership with the Rose Hill Retirement Community's Alzheimer Unit. Throughout the year, chapter members volunteered in the unit's Arts and Crafts Department, working hands-on with the residents to provide creative and meaningful interaction. In addition to their volunteer service, students raised $500 to support the Arts and Crafts program, ensuring residents that they would have access to the materials and activities that enhance their quality of life. These students are Mary Ruth Blake, Sydney Stafford, and Kaylin MacArthur, and they placed 9th in the nation. And we're very proud of them. And while they're coming up, I want to read something else about the Foothills FBLA program. So in addition to their top 10 finish, the chapter also earned 6th place nationally in the Middle School Chapter Champion Award category. This award recognized overall chapter excellence in leadership, participation, and community engagement. Foothills Community School was the only middle school in North Carolina to earn this award, making us very proud of everything they've done. And this also speaks volumes for the hard work and leadership of Ms. Tasha Ramsey and Ms. Katie McFarland. Congratulations. So next, from the West McDowell Middle School FBLA team, Mr. Logan Reese competed in the FBLA national competition on Tuesday, July the 1st. He had 30 minutes to take a 50-question objective test in financial literacy. The financial literacy test aims to provide members with the opportunity to demonstrate knowledge of competencies in various financial skills. And Logan placed 5th in the nation. So we're super proud of this as well. And Miss Sarah Wills, who is here, and Mindy Hutchins are the advisors for FBLA, and they put a lot of time and effort into this as well this school year. Great job, students. We're very proud of you. Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have a unique award. This one is coming to us from a recent conference that we attended, and the two attendees were Mr. Lloyd Cuthbertson and Miss Ashley MacArthur. And they're not necessarily here tonight, but they didn't know that McDowell County Schools had won an award when they went We had no knowledge of that, but while they were at the conference, we were recognized, and it was one of those that I felt pretty confident that we wanted to make sure that we recognized this accomplishment. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to invite all of our administrators that are here tonight, if you will, please come up. And that's Executive Cabinet, that's everybody. Please come up. I'll talk to you a little about what this means. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about this award. So this year, the State Bureau of Investigations has taken over the Department for Safer Schools for North Carolina. That actually fell under the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction for many, many years, but during this most recent legislation, it was passed off to the State Bureau of Investigation. They are part of the Center for Safer Schools. So what this award was, and we were the only folks in Western North Carolina to receive this, and that speaks volumes. And I want to talk about this group and why we're receiving it. It's called the Resilience Award, and this acknowledges McDowell County Schools has shown exceptional resilience in the face of a natural disaster and continue to prioritize school safety and student support. So specifically speaking about the damages that happened at Old Fort, and that was what was mentioned in this meeting, and how we were able to keep our kids at the front of our thoughts and keep our kids and our families moving forward and getting our community back on their feet. And I know it wasn't just us who were involved in that. That was a whole lot of folks, a whole lot of community, but it was one of those things when this got presented. You can receive something at a conference and nobody really knows about it, but it is one of those things that I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the work that I saw these administrators do within a day of the hurricane. I was able to be on the phone with them and see these folks be in here in this office, as well as setting up distribution centers and really working hard to take care of our community. And I'm very proud of you guys. And on behalf of the State Bureau of Investigation, this is the Resilience Award. And I'm going to ask you guys, if we can, to get a photo with this. Thank you.
At this time, item number 9 on the agenda is request to address board public comment. And we do have a request from Mr. Chris Wall to address the board. And Mr. Wall, if you will listen just a minute, I know you've heard this, but I need to explain some things to you. Public comment is a time for the board to hear from folks regarding issues related to the McDowell County School District. We ask that folks be mindful that we encourage families of small children to attend our meetings and watch our meetings online. We respect the right of speakers to give us their viewpoint on any issues related to the schools. However, we do balance those rights with the rights of families of young children when it comes to public comment. We ask that speakers make their points without making explicit comments. It is not appropriate or permissible for teachers in our schools to read explicit material to young children, and doing so in public comment is not appropriate either. In addition to public comment, the public is welcome to send the board emails through the superintendent. And at this time, we'll entertain a motion to allow Mr. Wall to address the board.
So moved.
Second. Okay, we have a motion by Mr. McGinnis and a second by Mr. Barksdale. Is there any further discussion on request to address the board? Okay, with no further discussion, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand, which is unanimous vote. Okay, and Mr. Wall, if you'll step up there, and we have a timekeeper, of course, Ms. Diddle, but we appreciate.
It was timely, what just happened as to what I have to say. I'd like to just say, I remember just a few days after the flooding, I was traveling on Interstate 40, headed west, looking at some of the devastation and some of the things that I saw. And, whenever I got to Old Fort, I saw what was once a beautiful campus seemingly destroyed. Thinking we'll never see that beautiful campus again. I have to confess that I was so wrong. We would like to thank all those who have worked so hard to make this possible. There's been a great effort to bring this school back to what it was. I hesitate to name all the names of those involved for fear of leaving someone out. It seems like it has been so long a time coming. There's a phrase that we read so many times in the Word of God that says, "And it came to pass." It is used to say what happened is now over. Looking back, I felt as though we would never see our county back to what it was before. Some of our county has been scarred severely. Lives have been affected, property has been wiped out, and those things may take a lifetime to heal. But a lot of it has been restored, and we should celebrate every victory. The reopening of Old Fort School is one of those victories that we as a county should celebrate. So on behalf of Christian Perspective representatives, we would like to present this United States flag of America to Old Fort Elementary School in celebration. This has and is very time. I'm so sorry. This has and is trying times for our area, and a lot more to be rebuilt. But we're thankful to say to Old Fort School, and it came to pass. Thank you so much.
What a surprise, and thank you. At this time, we're on a beginning journey. Her initial opportunity to speak as a member of the board, and we welcome Mrs. Amber Lawing at this time as our teacher representative. Thank you so much, ma'am.
So good evening, and thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. I'm Amber Lawing, for those of you who don't know me, and I will definitely be speaking to you many times this year. Thank you to Ms. Battle. Tonight may take a few extra minutes because I want to share who I am and what I hope my monthly focus will look like. I promise I won't take up this much time each month. I know you have important matters to discuss, and I truly appreciate the chance to share this with you. I have to use paper. I'll be looking down at my paper most of the time. It's not because I'm disconnected. This is personal, and when I make eye contact, my voice tends to crack and the tears will follow. I'd like to make it through this with a clear voice and a steady heart. Poor Dr. Grit has yet to hear me speak without this disclaimer, and since I'll be presenting all throughout the 2025-2026 school year, one of my goals is to make it through at least once without using it. I'm not saying it's likely, but it's a goal. Lawing is my maiden name, and my husband Michael gave up long ago on me changing it to O&B. Every time my teaching license renewal rolls around, I say I'll finally make the switch so I can do all the paperwork at once. But I procrastinate until I'm sure that if Vicki has to send me one more reminder email, she'll come through my computer screen and throttle me. That's when I drop everything and handle it immediately like my life depends on it, because it does. Our home is loud, messy, and overflowing with love. Sometimes overwhelming, often challenging, fueled by snack breaks and deep breaths, but always worth it. My oldest, Jacob, graduated this past December from UNC Wilmington. My sweet Gray is gearing up for 3rd grade, and my feral Ava is soon to be in kindergarten at West Marion. She keeps the chaos lively and fully believes she's a princess because her daddy tells her so. It's true. Being a mom has taught me how to multitask, think on my feet, and say things like, we don't lick the floor and don't hit your brother with a shovel. Offer Ava. With a straight face, skills like that surprisingly transfer well to teaching. It's funny how often you say similar things to students no matter their age. I currently teach Math 1 through Math 3 at McDowell Early College, depending on the need. I started my teaching career at East Middle back in 2010-2011. I thought I'd retire there, and a part of me will always bleed orange. But in 2022-2023, God led me to McDowell Early College. The move didn't change who I am at my core. It simply gave me a new place to keep doing the work that means so much to me. That purpose is personal because I know what it feels like to want more, to work for better, and to carry the weight of breaking a family cycle, often without knowing who's walking beside of you. When you're trying to do that, your village is usually small, but those few people in your corner, they matter more than words can say. That's who I try to be, someone who helps each of my kids see their potential and holds on to that belief until they can see it themselves. My students come from all walks of life. Some have faced unimaginable challenges, and others have had strong foundations. But I see their worth and love each one of them, no matter their story. For many, school isn't just where they learn, it's where they feel seen. Sometimes we're the only steady, dependable presence in their lives. I walk beside my kids through the hard days, step in front of them to protect, fight for, and encourage them when needed, and step behind them with a smiling heart to cheer them on when they're ready to lead, keeping the watchful, caring eye Psalms 32:8 speaks of. Being named Teacher of the Year is something I carry with deep pride, not because I think I'm the most deserving. Honestly, I don't do anything special. I know there are teachers in this county who do so much more than I do. Teachers who are far more deserving than I'll ever be. I'm not out there writing grants, creating new programs, shaping curriculum, influencing policy, or leading big initiatives that reach far beyond the classroom, and all other impressive things so many teachers in our county are out there doing. I'm just a math teacher who loves her kids. I work to meet my students right where they are academically. I create teacher tables generated towards secondary math, look for creative ways to reach them, and work to build their confidence step by step. I take time to know my students, their personalities, their sense of humor, and in every class we make jokes, tease each other in good fun, and fill the room with laughter and memories right beside of our math problems. I do my best to be present with honesty, love, and high expectations, inside and outside the classroom. The truth is, my students have had a far greater impact on me than I could ever hope to make on them. If this recognition means anything, I hope it represents the kind of teaching that's rooted in relationships, trust, and the simple things that matter. Showing up, being consistent, caring deeply, believing in kids. It's not flashy, but those small, steady things are what changes lives. I still don't know exactly how I want my monthly presentations to look, but I do know this. I want them to be meaningful and to show you, the school board and our community, the relationship piece of our schools. Each month, I'll end by sharing the voice of a student or former student whose path was changed because of an employee at McDowell County Schools. They saw their worth, believed in them, and helped them find a better direction. Tonight, I want to shine a light on sweet Miss Crawley as a teacher who has made that kind of lasting difference. Miss Crawley, this is just a small token, a starfish keychain. It may not look like much, but it carries a story that reflects the difference you've made, a story that is true for so many others in our schools. I want to share the words of a former student, someone whose life changed because you took the time to build a relationship, to show up with heart, and to help him believe he was capable of more. When I reached out and asked if he would reflect on how you impacted him, he didn't hesitate. These are his words. Without Miss Crawley, I honestly don't know where I'd be. I'm certain I wouldn't be where I am today or have achieved any of the success I've found. Her lessons reached far beyond the classroom. She was a true educator who made learning fun and made sure every student knew they were loved. She wasn't the kind of teacher who sent you out in the hallway and left you there. That happened to me a lot before she came. But she stayed and was there for us in ways that mattered. I've carried the tools she gave me all the way through college, and I graduated with honors. Now I'm a successful business owner. That's the difference she made. Miss Crawley, you're truly an angel on earth. Wayne T., 3rd grade, West Elementary School, school year 1991-1992. Hearing his words brought me back to the story your keychain represents. One morning, a man was walking along a beach covered with thousands of starfish that had washed ashore during the night. Up ahead, someone was gently picking them up one by one and tossing each starfish back into the ocean. "Why are you spending so much energy on this?" the man asked. "There are too many of them to make a difference." "They'll die if they're left in the sun," the person replied without pausing. The man glanced up and down the endless shoreline. "But there are miles of beach and thousands of starfish. You can't possibly save them all. What difference could you make?" Another starfish was lifted from the sand and sent back into the waves. Smiling, the person said, "I made a difference for that one." Just like in the story, you remind us that it's about showing up for the ones right in front of us. You haven't just saved one. You've lifted so many back into the water. You built trust, you built confidence, you built belonging. And we are better, our schools, our students, our community, because of you. The starfish is a small reminder, as 3rd grade Wayne said, to let the sun shine on you for every good day and to never forget the big impact you've made and how much it still matters. In the end, it's not just about what we teach, it's about who we reach. Every child deserves someone in their corner and a chance to have a fresh start, not just at the beginning of the school year, but every single day. To know there will be people inside who believe in them, see their worth, and will always show up. This is my belief and my commitment, no matter what others think. I will never bend or back down from it, because that's the kind of influence that leaves a lasting mark. That's the message I'll always show up to tell, whether it's in a quiet conversation, a hallway chat, a presentation, or one of those small, unexpected moments that matter most. I truly appreciate your patience as I took extra time this evening. I'm sure you'll be looking forward to my future presentations being a bit shorter. And honestly, so will I. I'm not exactly the most polished writer or speaker, and I definitely don't have the voice for it. I mean, I didn't get Best Pee Wee Herman Impression, right here, as my paper plate award for my kids for nothing. Nonetheless, thank you for listening, and again, thank you, Ms. Crawley.
Miss Crowley, stand up.
Wow, I think they need to get together for a photograph.
Ms. Lawler, can you guys do
Hey Garrett, can you go back to her collage of her pictures? I got a question, I gotta ask. Get your picture, I gotta ask. Who is this you're portraying right here?
Okay, so me and Cora dressed up as Ricky and Bobby for Halloween at our school, and I forgot which one I was, but then we did the trunk or treat, and then she's the one that did the mustache, but she did it adorable. But I did not have the heart to tell her that, but I told her thank you. But then look at Seesaw and that big Colgate smile. He got my Colgate, he got the paper plate award for Colgate, because of his big, beautiful smile. So yeah.
That looks just like a pitching coach that I had, that's why I asked.
Oh, thanks.
And I want, really enough, I'm gonna send it to him.
Okay.
Do I have your permission to send it?
Absolutely. You can send whatever you want.
That was a very good presentation, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, at this time is item number 11 on the agenda, unfinished business. And I see Ms. Rampey has stepped up to the podium, so turn it over to you, ma'am.
I'm not sure who did the agenda. Finance follows the starfish story, but it'd be great. There'll be no tears. Hopefully no tears. Not today, anyway. On the agenda today, we are going to talk about two projects that you guys are already aware of, that Mr. Marsh spoke of previously, and that is the project that was approved through the state through the Hurricane Helene Capital Project funds. That was for the PG restoration funds for $1 million, and then we also have $4 million. That is for the West McDowell Middle School lower field entranceway, and then up through towards the high school's tennis, the erosion going down in that area. With those funds, those are held at the state and then run through the county, so we will have to approve those as a project where we can draw those funds down. And so we are asking for a motion to approve those projects for us to be able to start drawing the funds down. If there's any questions on those, we did go over in detail that. I think that was last month or the month before.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, sir.
So I just want to be real clear. We knew we had the funding because there was a letter that was sent to us. What we didn't have was the funding. So how that worked is they sent that funding to the county. It was placed in a very old account that the county hadn't used in several years. And in conversation with the folks at the county level, they did indeed say that they had the funding. We were under the impression that it was going to come to us. We weren't sure how it was coming. We just knew we had a letter. And Mr. Marsh was given a directive of making sure that we had PG back ready to go. So we moved ahead with that, and that's why the cart was a little ahead of the horse. With or without the funding, we had to do what we did at PG. So I just want to be real clear about why it's coming through that way. I'm also want to be real clear, we're real glad the county found it. And one of the questions that we had along those ways was, obviously that's quite a bit of money that's sitting in an account. And typically, those accounts are interest-bearing. In this situation, Mr. Abernathy, I know that was a question you had during one of our meetings. That is one of those that the state actually holds that money until it's requested. So at this point, we hope to be able to request all of those funds, so it will indeed be interest-bearing for McDowell County. Right now, the state's doing exactly what I would do. They're holding it, so it's interest-bearing for North Carolina. So that just wanted to give you all a little heads up on where we were with that, and answer any questions that y'all might have about those projects. Obviously, I can answer them. I know Mr. Marsh is a little more heavily involved in them and can get into the weeds on it if need be. But I just wanted you to know what was going on with that. So tonight, what we are asking is for a recommendation, for a motion, or I'm going to give a recommendation, I guess, for a motion that we go ahead and approve those projects so we can begin drawing down that money that we've already done quite a bit of work at PG for. So I know that was, if anybody has any questions, there's a lot of moving parts on that. But I just wanted to be real clear what we were doing there. And I do fully recommend that we move forward with these projects.
And just another note, if we had received this as a direct grant, that would have been a budget amendment. We would have put that on a budget resolution. Because we received the notice directly to us, that was our assumption. These funds actually ended up, any of the people that have been around a long time, in the old ADM, state ADM funds that we used to get 15 years ago. And so that is how they have handled it, like the old state capital funds that we used to get.
Okay, at this time, Ms. Rampy, and of course the superintendent's request that there's a motion on this, be a motion, an action requested. So at this time, I'll open the floor for a motion.
Chairman Frank,
Yes, sir.
excuse me, as Chairman of Finance, I make a motion to approve the two projects funded by Hurricane Helene Capital Recovery Funds. $1 million for restoration at Pleasant Gardens Elementary School and $4 million for erosion control at West McDowell Middle School and McDowell High School.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, at this time, we have a motion by Mr. Shuford and a second by Mr. Baker for the request to McDowell County for capital relief funds. Is there any further discussion? With no further discussion, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand, which is unanimous. Okay. And facilities update with Mr. Marsh.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ms. Rampy. Thank you, board.
Thank you.
Mr. Marsh, we'll turn it over to you.
Dear Mr. Chairman, Dr. Grip, members of the board, ladies and gentlemen, again, it's always a pleasure to come before you and talk about where my directorate is at. As Mrs. Rampy reminded me on her way by, brevity, so I'll try to keep it brief. But there's a lot going on that I want to make sure you know about. Now, with our transportation director, Mr. Thomas's staff, been assisting with bus allocation throughout our summer programs, conducting those parts inventories and performing bus inspections and repairs. Cleaning the buses will begin this week and ensure that they are ready to hit the roads ahead of school. And for the board's information, the bus that we ordered, the activity bus that had actually been sitting in the plant, we're just still waiting on them to finish up the final pieces of that and hope to receive that in the next upcoming months. Mr. Garrett Berryhill's here with us tonight. Him and his staff continue with the process of testing the new temperature sensors that we've ordered for our freezers and coolers. With students out of the building, they continue to move forward with the migration of the remaining schools to their new subnets, significantly improving our network speeds, reliability, and security. They're preparing for the refresh rollout of the Chromebooks for this upcoming year, and we are working together to identify areas that need cameras and motion sensors. And I know, Mrs. Elliott, that's something that you and I spoke about this last week, but we're working to get that resolved. Child nutrition, Mr. Haynes and his staff are working hard. This week will conclude the summer meals program that ends on August the 15th. I'm very proud of them and happy to announce that with their hard work, they've ensured that we will again be eligible for the CEP, which stands for Community Eligibility Program, which in layman's terms will just simply mean that each student McDowell County Schools will be eligible to receive free lunch and breakfast, and so it's a huge deal for them. We appreciate their efforts. They were also successful in getting the FFE grant, which will ensure all elementary students receive a fresh fruit or vegetable 3 days a week in our schools. In athletics, we've been working with principals and athletic directors to fill coaching vacancies. I spoke to Mr. Suttles about that some this past week with qualified candidates and ensure that the required training is complete. I met with ADs for the middle and high school and had virtual meetings with MHS ADs, fall coaches, and a member of Mrs. Whitman's administration to discuss my expectations. We are working together to identify and address needs for each of our programs. As Dr. Gritt pointed out earlier tonight, we have an ongoing contest going on at the high school in what I'm sure is being enjoyed, a cooler gymnasium, thanks to the board for that a couple years ago, but also with a brand new sound system, which if you haven't heard it yet, it's outstanding. Fall sports begin in earnest with NCHSAA with a home volleyball game, of course, and then practices for traditional schools at the middle school level will begin on the 25th for each one of those middle schools. Schedules are being posted to websites and will be shared on social media, and some of those are already shared today. We had all of elementary and middle school gym floors resurfaced. I'm going to show you a couple pictures of those tonight. If you haven't been able to get around to your schools, they look absolutely fantastic. We're very proud of those. Looking forward to playing on them. Mr. Jeff Vaughn continues to do an exceptional job, and I really appreciate the board and Dr. Gritt's support being able to hire him and all things that Ms. Dowdle did. The conversion of West McDowell Middle School with the creation of a self-contained EC classroom will be complete this week. We continue to work with FEMA and local contractors to remove debris as well as make repairs to areas that were damaged by Helene. And the summer painting and floor cleaning programs are ongoing and the schools are looking refreshed. Our pump truck, which I'll show you a picture of in a little bit, has reached total failure. The new truck will not be delivered until the end of the year, which will mean that Mrs. Rampy and I will be working together to contract some pumping services as required. We are working daily to execute the capital HVAC project, but I wanted to let the board know that as we continue to address issues since March, we have encountered 50 HVAC-related issues. Currently, we have corrected 34 of them, and 15 are categorized as open, with one being in a building which we are leasing. And I'm working with the owner to get that resolved. As we heard a little bit tonight from our grant funds, I wanted to report to the board that Pleasant Gardens, as you well know, is back to being a school of one, Mr. Shuford, and we work to remediate the school inside and out. The paving and striping of existing parking lots and entryways is complete. Performing drainage remediation and making necessary repairs is in progress to the exterior. I'm not satisfied with a couple areas. We'll continue to work on those. Pressure washing the exterior of the school is complete. Cleaning the interior of the school is complete. Painting the interior of the school is in progress, with only one hallway remaining as not being completely repainted. Installing new luxury vinyl tile flooring in many of the areas that were damaged is in progress. There's a dumpster in the back of the school that is full of some of that refuse. As it was mentioned earlier tonight, and really appreciate the words that was mentioned. Old Fort Elementary School, we know, is back open. Mrs. Rampy and I have worked together to release all of the funding for Belfour. They are done and out of the way. Verco's delivering the last of the materials for furniture this week, and the items that they had delivered have been assembled and moved back into places. The exterior of the grounds, the area of the erosion at Mill Creek is done, and we're working with FEMA to recover payment for that. Volunteers from around the area have graciously assisted the various beautification projects around campus, and I spoke with Ms. Ward about that today and thanked her for her willingness to answer some of those questions, because we had a ton of volunteers from around the area was interested. For our new flag that was given to us tonight, the flagpole in front of the school was damaged during Helene. You may remember a new pole is on order, and we're working with insurance for repayment of that pole. It'll be replaced upon arrival. Our staff has restriped the parking lots, and they look wonderful. A concrete pad, new metal building will be placed on site to support the custodian and performance of his groundkeeping duties. And you may have seen a post that Mrs. Ward posted where some outside entities offered up some materials they donated to the school. And Mrs. Ward is working with Kaboom and the YMCA to procure and install a new playground. Garrett, can we show some pictures? Everybody likes pictures. So this is the top left and right are Pleasant Gardens Elementary School parking areas after they completely stripped it down to subsurface. Keep rolling, Garrett. You can see off to the left there, we encountered once some of that was taken off, we encountered some box drains that had failed. One that was carrying a lot of the weight of the school and pushing onto the adjoining property that goes next door to Old Fort First Baptist, and we have also had to address that. Keep rolling. This is the front of the school, and it shows you some of those new parking areas. And again, they just look wonderful. You got there in the rain, and the water is going where it's supposed to go, and the parking lots are looking good. And this was after they'd received several inches of rain, so it's already working really well. I mentioned some of our HVAC woes, and I wanted to show you that this is some of the things that we're encountering. The left is a filter to a condenser unit that was removed that you can see has untold months, perhaps years of blockage. On the right, you can see a condenser pump. This is the primary system mover at West McDowell Middle School that had to be taken out and sent off to be milled because the propeller and the impeller and the shaft both had to be milled. It's in process. Go ahead. This is another filter that was clogged. So when Mrs. Elliott called to say, my systems are not working, my AC is not working, her compressors were not able to move and were overheating because they were clogged and weren't able to get air and we didn't able to get water. So these are some of the things that we're addressing on a weekly basis as we move forward. I talked to, sir.
Marsh, may I interrupt?
Please.
So those filters haven't been changed in some time?
No, sir. No, sir. So top, you see a beautifully finished floor at Glenwood. And so, you know, when I went down there and met with Miss Ray, they had a little buckling that was occurring right around center court on the Dragon. Folks came in and did that, and I went with a water base, which in this case, the water base, I used it to fidelity at the rec department, and it cuts down on the smell, it dries faster, and it lasts just as long. So it looks wonderful. Keep going, Garrett. So that's a Glenwood there. Look, and that patina is really showing through. I got the chance to walk this with Mr. Baker. That's at West Marion. It looks just beautiful. And then go on down, and there's some more that's showing through at Nebo Elementary. So all of the elementary schools were done. The 2 middle schools were done, and they just look wonderful. I wanted to show this because I wanted to report to the board. Coach Clark is doing exactly what I asked him to do, and that's conduct outreach, get involved at the middle school levels, and start raising some future Titans. This was his effort. He contacted me about wanting to give out some safety protection. I got with Mrs. Rampy, and the answer was absolutely go for it. So keep rolling. There's some smiling kids there on the east. A new set of bleachers that we erected that were to place the antiquated, unsafe ones that were at the high school baseball field. You see 2 sets there. There's another one down the softball field. And the last picture is of Coach Clark with the guys down at West Middle. And so really proud of his efforts there, and all the kids were just thrilled with it. I think that concludes the picture show. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yep, one more. I told you failure. When I use the term failure, I mean it. That's failure. That's what failure looks like in a pump truck. There's no patching that. There's no, I don't care what commercial you've seen. You're not going to put, you don't patch that. It's unsafe. It's unsanitary. So obviously I've ordered them to take it off the road. So, yeah, she gone. So we're going to be waiting patiently on our new set. Nobody was injured. No leakage occurred. So there you go. Any questions on operational auxiliary and athletics?
Mr. Marshall?
Sir.
Was there some flooding at Marion Elementary that went on, and did we take care of that? I heard one of the custodians say something about the same hallway.
Yeah, great question. So sometimes, Mr. Suttles, I think, I'm trying to say it's like an engineer. Sometimes we struggle with beautification and design. So when you build, you may think, well, man, look, we need some mulch here, we need some gravel here, and it builds it up a little bit. And the unintended consequence is that it turns water back in another area. Obviously, you know this from being in your business very well, right? So what we saw there was that some water was being inadvertently turned back into a Basically, it was a landing, and it was outside of a classroom, and it was coming under the door, sir.
Okay.
So staff went out there, was notified about it. Staff went out. We feel like we've addressed it. I believe it's going to be a continuing thing. We're going to have to tweak, Mr. Suttles, because it didn't happen overnight. And again, it wasn't anybody did anything wrong. God bless them. They were trying to make the school look nice, and so we just got to tweak it a little bit.
But it wasn't the drainage where Todd Bennett replaced all the sinkhole and all of that stuff that I cleaned out last time.
It did not appear to be.
Okay.
It didn't appear to be. Just some high points with some gravel and some other outside stuff. But I mean,
Okay.
we'll continue to look at it, sir.
Yeah, if it is, let me know, because I would like to help out over there.
Yeah,
Good.
100%.
Okay. All right.
100%.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Any other questions?
Will there be a schedule put together to check these air conditioning units on a regular basis?
It's a great question. So when I saw that second filter, Mr. Barksdale, I immediately instructed staff prior to the beginning of school to go to every McDowell County schools facility and check the filters. So from that point, what I believe will happen is just like with your car, everything will back up in the system. So even if you clean it now, doesn't mean you don't go back. You're in pretty quick order and do it again. So I told them to do it in 90 days again. And so custodians are working to change out the interior filters, right? That's great. That's air. It has to be able to move. But those are what's causing our system to overheat and trip offline. Ultimately, that damages your system, and if it's run undetected, it absolutely can destroy a piece of equipment. And I can't look you in the eye and tell you that that's not what's happened over the years and why we have or have not or are not having to replace things now. But it's definitely something that I've got with Dr. Grid on, and I told him that I believe a good preventive maintenance system does not exist, and that it is my intent to create one along with, our maintenance department, Mr. Vaughn, and try to get that moving, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Marsh, we appreciate that. And at this time, we're going to just roll right into our RFQ process, sir. I know you've got a lot to share with the board, some really positive news, and a lot of progress has been made in that area. So I'm excited to hear from you tonight.
So if it pleases the board, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to kind of do this in concert with our committee chair for Building and Grounds and Dr. Grit, and because I believe that it's important that these gentlemen are heard from as well throughout this process. Just as a reminder for the board, the RFQ process overview, your attorneys wrote the RFQs that they wanted to have posted. So we posted after their guidance. The RFQ, again, request for qualification was posted to our web pages for 30-plus days, which was what their recommendation was, at which point we took it down because we had 9 architectural firms submit RFQs. From those 9 RFQ submissions, we simply requested a meeting with the Building and Grounds chair and presented all 9 of the RFQs that we had been given. And so when a firm submits those, they basically everybody follows the same suit. These are cookie cutter presentations that we went through, presented all 9 of them to the board, and during that meeting on the 29th of July, the chair and the committee chose 3 from the group of 9, and at that point, I was directed to contact those 3 firms and set up meetings. And this followed the process that Mr. John Henning, our attorney, had recommended. We, on the 7th of August, conducted interviews in this room with those firms, Mrs. Rampy, myself, Dr. Grit, and the attorney, Mr. John Henning. They were each given 40 minutes to present for their firm and talk about why they would be the best firm for the job. The firms that presented that day were Adams and Associates, Little Diversified Architectural Consulting, mouthful, and Holland and Hamrick Architects. At the conclusion of that meeting, Mr. Henning reminded the members of the committee that they had indeed followed everything that he had given to follow. And Mr. Barksdale Your committee conferred, correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to talk about about that at all?
Yes, during the Buildings and Ground Committee meetings, we reviewed the presentations along with our attorney. And after extensive considerations and consultation with Mr. Henning and from Campbell and Shack, we selected Holland and Hamrick as the most suitable architect for this project. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve Holland and Hamrick as the architect for the new school project.
Okay, we have a motion by, and this is by action requested on this, but Mr. Barksdale's made a motion to accept the proposal by Holland and Hamrick, and I'll entertain a second.
I'll second.
Okay. All right, we have a motion by Mr. Barksdale and a second by Mr. Allison. Is there any further discussion concerning the RFQ selection that the firm that was selected at this time?
Sir, I do want to point out just a couple of things in this process, in this discussion time. One of the other pieces that we will need to do is notify our commissioners of who our selection as a board is. And that was one of those that Mr. Henning shared that with us in the process, and that we have some time to do that, obviously. But I did just want to let you know that we will do the first initial step tonight, which is approving of the RFQ, and then the second step of that will be to get on the Commissioners Board agenda. I will follow Mr. Henning's lead and time on that and really work with him closely to know when I might need to step out and go up to the Commissioners meeting, right, Mr. Abernathy?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the selection for the architect signify by raising your right hand. Okay, that's a unanimous vote. Let's take the next one. Thank you, Mr.
Thanks,
Marshall.
sir.
All right. We talked about moving at a really rapid pace. I want to just let you know that the next thing we're going to talk about, and I've got a resolution here prepared by Mr. Henning, our attorney, and I know Mr. Frank has access to that. He's going to share that with you just in a few minutes. But Board, I'm incredibly excited about what we're getting ready to talk about. To be able to say that we have found and obtained and entered into a due diligence period on property to build a new school, that is the first step in being shovel ready. And we have before you tonight the opportunity to really do that. I know Miss Elliott, I see you back there smiling ear to ear. She would love a new school, and we would love nothing more but to be able to provide the students from Marion Elementary and Eastfield Global Magnet School a combined school. And we do feel like we found some property for it, and that's the first big step. As you can imagine, quite a bit of work's went into that, and I'm very proud of the work that's taken place here, and appreciate Ms. Rampy and your efforts in it, Mr. Marsh and your efforts, and Board. I just want to say thank you again, Building and Grounds particular, and Finance Committee for really coming out and helping us through this process. These are a lot of moving parts to get this work done in 120 days. When we entered into this about April the 28th, I think was the final day when the board approved it, the commissioners approved it. 120 days felt like a long time. This summer, 120 days have felt like we needed another 120 days. But I'm proud to say that what we've got before you tonight is just that. We've got a resolution. Before Mr. Frank reads that resolution, I do want to point out a few things. And I wrote this in the weekly review for you as well. Ms. Rampy, who has been down this road before and has given us very good guidance, recommended that we increase the amount that we request, not for the property, but for the extra type testing and all the other samples that we ended up doing, which we've already had to take care of those. So now we would include that into these finances. So you will note that the property amount in this resolution is for $1.7 million. And the total that she was requested was up to $2 million. Ms. Rampy, am I leaving anything out? think that's very important. And for those of you who were on the board when Old Fort was built, you do, I'm sure you remember how many different title things and all the other pieces that come into play during these, as well as attorney fees and all the other things that then can be lumped in with the sale of this land. So I do want to point that out before I turn it over to Mr. Frank.
Any questions for Dr. Grip before I read the resolution? McDowell County Board of Education Board Resolution authorizing purchase of certain real property. Whereas the McDowell County Board of Education, hereinafter the board, has entered into contract negotiations to acquire a certain parcel of land located at the intersection of East Court, US Highway 70, and Ridge Road, City of Marion, McDowell County, North Carolina. McDowell County parcel ID number of the property is 1712-1822-9046, consisting of approximately 34.01 collectively the property. Whereas at this regular meeting of April 14th, 2025, the Board of Commissioners for McDowell County duly approved the purchase price of $1,700,000. And that's the purchase price for the property, such approval being required by statute prior to acquisition of property for school construction purposes. Whereas the board approved a contract for purchase of the property at its regular meeting of April 28, 2025, including all terms and conditions agreed to by the board for purchase of the property, among which is included the purchase price. Whereas the board has performed all necessary due diligence investigations of the property by and through its administrators, who after consultation with appropriate consultants now advise that the property appears to be suitable for school purposes and recommend acquisition of the property. Whereas services to perform said investigations of the property were incurred at substantial expense to the board expended from currently budgeted funds, additional expenses incurred during acquisition of the property, which expenses the board finds should be reimbursed through local sales tax funds. Whereas the board desires to clarify the authority of the board chair, superintendent, and finance officer to proceed with acquisition of the property. Now therefore be it resolved by the board as follows. Section 1. The board hereby affirms its intent to acquire the property pursuant to the terms of its previously approved contract for the same. Section 2, the superintendent, board chair, and finance officer are hereby authorized to execute on behalf of and act as the act of the board, and in consultation upon consultation with the board's legal counsel, such documents as they shall deem necessary for expedient to the acquisition of the property. Section 3, the finance officer is hereby authorized to work with McDowell County Finance Director to develop such project accounts and or ordinances as she shall deem necessary for expedient to obtain funds sufficient to pay the purchase price, and thereafter to expend the purchase price and such other funds from budgeted funds as are required to pay costs of acquisition of the property. Funds drawn down and expended for the purposes authorized by this resolution shall not exceed $2 million.
Mr. Chairman, it's an honor and privilege to make a motion to approve the resolution as just presented.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Shuford and a second by Mr. Baker to accept the resolution. And I ask, is there any discussion at this point? And if there is no discussion, I'm asking for all those in favor to signify by raising your right hand, which is unanimous. And I'm going to read this last paragraph. Adopted at the regular meeting of the McDowell County Board of Education this 11th day of August 2025 upon motion by board member Mr. Shuford, seconded by board member Mr. Baker, and passed by a vote of 9 in favor and 0 against. And of course I'll sign it, and Dr. Ritt will as well.
Can I say something? wanted to interject, and I just hesitated, very supportive of what we're doing. We had the advantage of seeing the master plan in that presentation, how the school sits on the property, how it'll be accessed. And I would just suggest as quickly as we can that the full board see that.
Yes,
and
sir.
have a presentation on it. Because I would be hesitant, having not seen it, to say, wait a minute, I want to see how it fits and how it looks. But, and it looks good, but I think we should do that.
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to say one thing after having read this. I am so touched by what this board has done so quickly. And it's all working together to get things done. And this by no means guarantees us a new school, but it sure helps us to be in the limelight when it comes time for those state grants to come out. And Lord have mercy, we're past due at Marion Elementary and Eastfield Global Magnet School for a new school. And I can't thank the buildings and grounds, finance, and every person on this board for the efforts that you put into. And I'm going to tell you, Mr. Marsh, I certainly do appreciate the efforts that you put into it. Especially, we had 2 parcels of land we were looking at, and thank goodness everybody did their due diligence, and we've selected what we feel like is the very best parcel of land that could be offered us at this time.
May I say, Mr. Frank, also that you didn't have a lot of choices in McDowell County. We think we've got a really good choice, but there's not 30, 40, 50 acres laying around here in McDowell County that you can build something like that on. And we feel blessed to have it. Thank all of you again for all your work.
I want to say thank you to Mr. Abernathy on suggesting that. I love that idea of showing it to the whole board. I wondered too, expanding on that, is there a possibility they could do it in an open session where it's on TV to get people excited about the future of McDowell County, and maybe some teachers see the plans and bring something to light in an email to us? Have you thought about this in the building or this? Because
Sure.
they're the feet that's walking through the hallways.
Absolutely, and we're certainly glad to do any of that. I want to point out that that's just, very, very rough. It could fit here, just showing where it would fit and simple design. But the biggest point was to show that it absolutely fits the property, because it's a fantastic piece of property. But just like any other property, there's roads and all the other stuff that goes with it. So I don't have any issue with showing that. It may be a while before we're quite to that point. What I can say is I don't mind. We've got the rendering of that. I don't mind to put that in the weekly review for you guys, so y'all can lay eyes on what we're looking at right now. There's no issue with that at all. Just knowing that could change, a little here or there. Moving forward, especially with as we look at building design like you're talking about, maybe it's longer on one end or longer on the other end, or the playground's here, but it's just a very rough sketch at this point. Simple, here's the land, here's GIS, simple outlines, so nothing, no architectural full designs or anything, but enough to get you excited for sure. And I want to, let's give this board a round of applause for pulling this off.
I'd like to say I think Dr. Grid is downplaying it a little bit, so there's no disappointment. You're not going to be disappointed. It's going to be good.
It's going to be short.
Great.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Up next, we've got Ms. Daddle, and she's coming to you tonight on our second reading for board policies. There were a lot of them.
Yes, sir.
A whole lot of them, and we feel like we're in a good place with them. This is the final read tonight, and we will ask for a board approval following this. Now, keep in mind that the policy committee, Ms. Angela Helms, as the chair of that committee, did the work initially, so technically this is the third read, Mr. Frank. Yes, sir.
Mr. Frank, Mr. Abernathy, Dr. Grit, and members of the board, I come tonight with just our final read of our spring policy updates. Again, if you will remember, when I presented last month, not only are these our spring policy updates, but they also bring us in 100% compliance with any and all executive orders that were issued. So meaning that language that needed to be updated is all updated in every policy. So this evening will be the final read, and I just wanted to ask if there were any questions for me as we move forward in this process. All right, I do want to say how appreciative I am of Mrs. Helms and our policy committee. I felt like we had made some great strides and through that, looking at these policy updates, and I appreciate being able to work with each of you, so thank you.
Ms. Helms, I want to piggyback on what she just said. From a person who came on the board with policies 3 years behind, I'm just so happy that we're staying ahead of the game. And more important than that, I know how you are a stickler for policy, and I appreciate the job you've done. Thank you. You make a motion if you'd like.
So, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept all policy updates as presented by Ms. Dowdle.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Helms and a second by Mr. Shuford to accept the policy or revisions as presented by Mrs. Dowdle. Is there any further discussion at this time? With no further discussion, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand, which is a unanimous vote.
Just like to thank the committee for their work on that. That was not a little bit of reading. Mr. McGinnis, I think we sent you home with a book about this big, and I know there was a lot of policy reading, so we appreciate you. Thank you.
Go ahead.
All
New
right.
business.
Up next, we have new business, and I see Ms. Hamby's made her way to the podium. This is our federal programs plan and budget. I'll let Ms. Hamby talk a little bit about this. This is very routine for
Yes,
what
sir.
we do every year.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Chairman Frank, members of the board, and Dr. Grit. It is my pleasure to present the 25-26 federal program allotments and plans for McDowell County Schools. I would like to share the proposed budget for this year and the plan overview with you at this time, and those should have been included in your packet. So the Title I, our supplemental funding for our low-income schools provides a little over $1.7 million. And most of this funding is allocated to schools, our elementary schools, for staffing needs above and beyond the current staff allotment, supplemental supplies and materials, professional development, and parent and family engagement. Schools this year will receive, upon your approval, a little over $1.4 million of this year's budget. And we're excited to be able to do that. And that comes out to be approximately around $950 per student identified for our elementary schools. Also, at the bottom of the page, you will find a list of our Title I district-wide instructional initiatives, and that is where those extra funds. We also had some additional carryover funds. We try to hold on to some carryover funds to start us out each year, and so you will see those included in that allotment. Next up on your list, we have our Title II funds, and these funds are used to build systems of support for excellent teaching and leadership. And this year, we received around $236,000. This is down a little bit from last year. Last year, we received around $287,000, and so it is a little bit less. But with some good planning, we were able, we're going to be able to stay the course even with a little bit less funding this year. This year's funding will focus on developing teacher efficacy, the reduction in class size and leadership, professional development opportunities that are made available to staff and administrators as needed. Also, we have our Title III funds, and these are used to supplement and support our English learners. We support our ML students by providing an ML assistance, supplies, and professional development. As you can see, this is a small amount of money, as $44,624, but it is an increase from last year by a few dollars. We allocate funding for our Title I set-aside each year for our McKinney-Vento homeless students, and this year we have allocated $45,000. And these funds support caseworkers and various needs to meet our most at-risk students. We also have our Title IV grant, which is $131,550, and this is up from last year by a little bit. Last year we received $129,136. These funds support well-rounded education, safe and healthy learning environments, and we also use these funds to support our behavioral supports in the classroom and at schools. Our last allocation that you will see in your packet is our RLIS funds, and these funds have not been announced at this time. We're continuing to hold on. But at the same time, we do have our carryover funds, and so this should not be a worry of the board or of the public or for our schools. And so with some strategic planning, we will have enough funding to get through this year, even if there were not funds to be dropped, and then we could look at what our needs are for next year. But I will make the board aware as soon as these funds become available, if and when they do. Should the RLIS funds become available, we will use them for student support and academic enrichment, focused on REACH and our day treatment staffing at West Marion Elementary. At this time, I would welcome any questions that you have as a board.
Ms. Hamby, I know the Title III, it's not a big pot of money by any means. Do you think that is enough for our programs here, considering how many Latin students we have, the population, or do you have a target number that should be higher based on the other programs?
So we have received an increase. The only thing I would say is, remember, these are supplemental funds, and these are not the funds that do pay for our ML staff that is
Okay.
provided by the state. This is in addition.
Okay.
And so what we do in order to meet the students' needs is that at Eastfield, I was going to point to Miss Elliott, she's not back there. At Eastfield Global Magnet, they do have a high population of ML students, and so we provide them with a certified staff and an assistant. And so this is enough funding to support that assistant that we have there to support that school.
And we've filled all of our ESL positions that we had some vacancies?
That is correct.
Okay.
So
All right.
we do have, we took a reduction there in that area, but at the same time, any position that we have has been filled at this point.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And you're requesting a action to be taken?
Yes, sir. So if there's no other questions, I would request board approval for the 25-26 federal plans and budget.
I'll help you out, Ms. Hamby.
Oh, hold on a second.
Maybe not yet.
I'm sorry.
I want to publicly talk just a few minutes about what Ms. Hamby's done with our federal programs. This is particularly important this year, where there was a scare on whether some of these funds would drop. Title I we knew was going to drop. Title III, IV, and the others that she mentioned there, including the RLIS, which we're still on waiting for. What Ms. Hamby has done, and I know I wrote about this in my weekly review, but I think it's important to share with the folks out there too. What Ms. Hamby has done has, over the years of being in federal programs now for about 10 years, right? We've talked about that. So over the 10 years, she has made sure that she carries enough over so we operate a year behind. So when so many other districts were extremely concerned about federal program, we knew we were okay this year. So that's why we didn't necessarily hit the panic button, because we knew we were in good shape for this upcoming year. So I just want to publicly acknowledge the work that you've done there to make sure that we're in good shape, and just say, as a superintendent, I really appreciate that.
Mr. Rampy's taught me well.
Absolutely. So that makes us in a position where we're not having to have our hand out in this situation. We're trying to take care of ourselves in that. So just wanted to point that out. And at this time, Ms. Hamby's absolutely right. We would entertain a motion, Mr. Frank.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion that we accept.
We have a motion by Mr. Suttles and a second by Ms. Helms to accept the federal programs plan and budget. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand, which is a unanimous vote. Thank you very much, Ms.
Thank
Andrew.
you.
We
I appreciate
it.
each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda, item 13, is board reports, and I'll start with you, Mr. Suttles, with curriculum and instruction.
We have nothing at this time. I'm just waiting on Ms. Hamby's next bright idea that it's coming. No, okay, I'm looking forward to it, so.
Mr. Barksdale, you've been pretty busy tonight. You have anything additional?
Just want to thank everybody for all the meetings and all the walking around we did on properties. There's a lot more to it than what people realize, but I thank all the committee. Thank you.
Mr. Shuford, finance?
Just to say a thanks to the board for its approval of the resolution and also the two projects that we discussed earlier. Thank you so much.
Go ahead on into Head Start if you would, if you have anything. Going into Head Start if you have anything.
And I do not have anything to report on Head Start. They had their meeting today, and I talked with Dr. Delaney, and she assures me all is well, and being kind of outstanding leader, I know it is. So look forward to being part of that next meeting. I was not part of it today.
Ms. Helms on policy?
Nothing else to report at this time.
Okay. Mr. Baker and Mr. McGinnis, NJROTC.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask Ms. Widman, would you like to say anything about the NJRTC camp that we went through and saw? Would you like to?
It's good practice.
Thank you so much for not talking about the trip down and back.
I was going to say she was an amazing driver. Even with 3 people telling her where to go. She figured it out. She figured it out. And you have anything, Mr. McGinnis?
Yeah, just in my own defense, I accidentally left out that one turn, so.
Whew, it's surprising we made it. Okay. At this time, we'll go to item number 14 on the agenda, which is approval of consent agenda. And I want to remind everybody, if there's anything in particular you want pulled and discussed separate, we'll be happy to do that. And if there isn't, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as you have it in your packet.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Abernathy was just wondering if it's really safe for 6th and 7th graders, to go to Washington. In jest.
Well, did you want to make the motion, Mr. Abernathy?
I will. Just stay safe.
Okay, do we
I
have a,
make that motion to approve the consent agenda.
okay, thank you. We have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
I'll say we send Mr. Abernathy the bodyguard too.
Does that
Chaperone.
mean that anything happened, it all falls back on him?
It's not Las Vegas. What happens there doesn't stay there, okay?
No, sir.
Okay, at this time, we have a motion by Mr. Abernathy and a second by Mr. Suttles on approval of the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of the consent agenda signify by raising your right hand, which is unanimous. And we don't need a continuation on closed
No,
session.
sir.
And at this time, we'll take action on closed session items, both certified and non-certified, and we're gonna do this a little differently. Tonight, we have, one position we wanna vote on separately, but at this time, I'll entertain a motion for, other than the separate item, for the certified and non-certified, motion to accept those personnel considerations.
I'll make the motion that we accept those considerations.
I'll second.
Okay, for the personnel considerations, and we have one more separate, but Mr. Suttles makes a motion, Mr. Shuford makes the second. Is there any further discussion? And all those in favor signify by raising your right hand, which is unanimous. And on the other item, let me get my paperwork so I don't miss anything. Okay, on appointment or to the Assistant Superintendent for Operations Auxiliary Services and Athletics, which is Mr. Marsh, I'll entertain a motion to approve that at this time.
I'd like to make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Okay, at this time, we have a motion from Mr. Barksdale and a second by Mr. Abernathy to approve Mr. Marsh's appointment to Assistant Superintendent. Is there any further discussion? With no further discussion, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Hold on. Okay. And all those with opposing view signify by raising your right hand. Okay. Okay, it is a 7-2 vote for that position, which there is majority carries. And the announcements, item 12, or wait a minute, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Announcements. No board work session August 25th. That's good. Board of Education regular session meeting will be September the 8th. And with that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Can you repeat that, September 8th?
On the announcements, September the 8th,
I'm sorry.
2025. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
We have a second, or you gonna stay here a while?
I'll second.
I'm gonna vote against it.
Step up, Jim.
All those, excuse me, is there any further discussion on adjournment? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand, which is unanimous at, looks like about 7:28.